We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars Wrestling Show, episode 235. I am your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff, and to my left this week, the one and only Scholar Brian. What's up tonight, sir?
We have, at least I have seen fit to grace this particular episode with my presence. I seem to see a certain champion missing.
Yes. Scholar Tarek, our current reigning and defending Scholars of Wrestling champion, is on Papa duty. And as we all know, he loves it when you call him Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air if you believe he is indeed a true player.
You are so white.
I am white.
You're whiter than white. You're neon white.
I'm transparent, baby. Yeah. But anyway, going back to we had to soldier on because there's a lot happening this week in wrestling, especially a surprisingly good week in Raw and SmackDown. Wouldn't you say?
It's the first week in a while where I actually have good things to say about both shows.
Mm-hmm.
The way I can put it is that it's very rare when both shows are able to give me more good than bad. And this is one of those weeks, which is good because we are very close to one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. And it is not the time to be putting up shoddy work. So,
yeah,
kudos.
Raw and SmackDown are bringing it. But before we break it all down for you, we have to kick this show off the right way with a little bit of a little segment we like to call Backstage News. So let's take a peek behind that curtain and see what else is happening in the world of wrestling with a little bit of
Backstage News. Everybody's leaving, man.
Yes, as your comments alludes to, the news just broke, or the rumor just broke from Brian Alvarez, I believe, that both the Revival and Mike and Maria Kanellis are supposedly requesting their release from WWE. Now, you don't have to be the most insightful person in the world. You just have to have a slightest bit of knowledge of what's going on in the world of professional wrestling today to possibly figure out what this could possibly mean.
Let's face it, okay? It's been a long time coming for all four of these talents. It's been, I expected this a long time ago, to tell you the truth. But obviously, okay, with the news that broke last week about the brand new promotion, All Elite Wrestling, okay, it actually gives them an avenue to, if you listen to Chris Jericho, okay, it gives them an avenue to make more money doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Revival, okay, technically, fundamentally, should be one of the best tag teams that the WWE has going right now.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they're being made fools of by the tag team champions and the Lucha House Party every week on Raw. What did you think was going to happen as soon as this news broke? I'm surprised it didn't. I'm surprised we weren't talking. I'm surprised you weren't talking about this on the show last week.
I kind of figured that it was happening, but you know what? At the time, I was so wrapped up in what actually was that I didn't even think too hard about what could be in that moment. But now that the word is out there, it makes all sense in the world. If they actually get the release, which I think everyone involved will know,
you know exactly
they're headed
where
right for AEW.
You know exactly where they're going, and no 90-day, it doesn't matter a 90-day no complete clause, because their first event isn't until May. So whatever.
Enjoy.
Yeah, and let's face it, okay? I forget most days that Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis are actually in the WWE.
Yeah.
So it's just another. I barely even knew I knew they were there, but once AEW came out, this is not the end of it. Okay, this is just what came out today. Okay, you know that there's a bunch of not major, maybe some major talent, but there's a bunch of small time guys who believe they should be bigger than what they are right now, and I will be surprised if it's only these four that we see asking for releases, and because you know where they're going too. Okay, and all of these people, if they actually get granted their release, you know exactly where they're going, because once again, Mike Bennett and Maria Bennett, Marina Kanellis, whatever you want to call her, okay, they're once again, they were waiting for the opportunity to come along where they can find something better, and they'll go to AEW, get paid more, okay, they'll actually be on a show, wow. That's it. So good for them. Okay, they're not getting what they want in the WWE. Okay, the WWE's starting to realize that because of what's happening on Raw and SmackDown now. Okay, they're starting to realize that they could lose a bunch of people because they're not getting used right, and that's why you're seeing so many wholesale changes going on Raw and SmackDown now. Okay, but for these four, it really doesn't matter. Okay, they don't like how they're being used. They're actively doing something about it. And when the time comes, you know where they're going.
Absolutely.
So, if they are granted their release, let's face it, okay, they might not. They might not be granted. We know they want them, but they're also professionals. Okay, so you're not going to see them slack off if they don't get the release.
They gotta preserve their legacy as top guys, after all.
Exactly. So, will the question now is, will the WWE knows as well as we do what's gonna happen if they grant their release. So, the question now the real question here is, will they actually be granted? Okay, it causes bad precedent, especially with what's going on right now with Lucha Underground, what's coming out with them.
Yes.
Okay, it sets bad precedent to not give the talent what they want when they want to get out of their contract. Okay, for those who don't know, certain people in Lucha Underground, such as Joey Ryan and Ivelisse, the 4 seasons over. It's done with. Okay, they want out because, hey, AEW just opened up. I want to try to broaden my horizons, and Lucha Underground is saying no. We're gonna let you hang around. Hey, maybe there will be a season 5. If there was a season 5 confirmed and all that, I'd be like, okay, fine. Okay, they don't even have a confirmation on that yet. So you're just letting these talents hang around and all that, and it's setting bad precedent. And you're not gonna get any new people, new wrestlers, and new talent to come in when they know that this is going on behind the scenes.
And I suspect, if this is anything to be believed, that this is just the tip of the iceberg, and this is going to be the start of a very wrestler-centric era in the wrestling business.
Which is good when you hear what's been going on backstage with accordance to contracts, with accordance to insurance, money issues, all that noise, all that background noise. It's good that it's turning around and becoming a wrestler centric, because hey, it's a wrestling business, okay, the business people should not be making out with all the bank from what's going on. So it's good, but
a shift is coming. I'm convinced of it.
But if they did request if they actually, as of right now, just rumors. Okay, nothing's confirmed yet. But if they did ask for their release, the WWE would be smart to actually grant it. Because because if you don't, and people find that out, then
you lose business.
And the AEW as of right now is no competition for Raw. As of right now.
They're still getting started.
There's nothing as of right now for the WWE to worry about. But if they show that they're worried, which they would by not granting these releases, okay, then the trickle-down effect starts. Okay, and then it shows other wrestlers who might be thinking about coming between WWE and AEW. It's like, oh, WWE is looking kind of worried here. Maybe I should go with the other people. Okay, so the smart thing for the WWE to do here is allow these 4 talents to be released. They grant their release. They go over to AEW. It shows that the WWE is not worried as of now. Technically, okay. What we see on Raw and SmackDown shows, hey, maybe.
I suspect a lot of people are going to be playing their cards very close to the chest right about now. But you know what? One way or the other, it's all going to come out in the open. This is just the opening salvo. But in other news, with people who are genuinely happy with the WWE right now, as I mentioned on the last episode, as of tomorrow, we're taping this on the 16th. Tomorrow, Thursday the 17th, there is going to be the Mortal Kombat 11 reveal, and a great amount of WWE personalities have been invited. Ronda Rousey, who, as I mentioned last week, is supposedly, according to the rumor, cast as Sonya Blade, but also Xavier Woods got an invite. Zelina Vega got an invite. Who else got an invite? Kofi got an invite. Cody Rhodes got an invite. He's not even with WWE. He got an invite.
But he's Cody Rhodes, and we've known forever that he's a Mortal Kombat freak. It's not.
He's more known for Zelda, but hey.
He's more known for Zelda, but all the time when the Mortal Kombat 10 and the XL came out, you saw that he was a freak for Mortal Kombat. So Ronda Rousey, if you really think about it, she's got the look of a Sonya Blade. So it makes sense. If there's acting to be involved, I don't know how well that's gonna work. But
maybe motion capture?
But motion capture, no doubt. But I mean, like, speaking, is it gonna sound like she's just reading lines off of a paper, or is she actually gonna, act? Because seeing her in movies, and seeing her and a lot of her promo work, she gets 1 or 2 really good ones, like with the emotion and all that. But the promo that she cut on A Moment of Bliss last week, that was wooden as hell. The one this week, okay, that segment was taken over by Sasha Banks. Okay, I just don't. Motion capture for Sonya Blade, sure. Okay, but we're not here for her. We're not here for voice acting chops. We're here. It's Mortal Kombat 11. We want to fuck shit up. We don't really care about the acting that goes on behind it. Don't lie
I was going to say, that being said, although the quality of NetherRealm Studios games has gone up tremendously in the past years, I've got a Scholar's Quick Talk for you. Given these rumors about Ronda and the connections between NetherRealm Studios and WWE, NetherRealm Studios has produced that WWE mobile game, and Xavier Woods has showed up as Raiden in that game. They're doing this. If you've seen it Up, Up, Down, Down, Xavier Woods actually got an interview with Daniel Pensina, the original Johnny Cage, Reptile, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, all those guys from Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. I have to wonder here, and this is the question, given the connection, is there a possibility that we could see more WWE personalities involved directly with the game Mortal Kombat 11? Could it happen, or is it just wishful thinking on my part to the possibilities that could be? Will we see Zelina Vega voicing Jade?
I honestly think, okay, whatever has happened, it's already happened. Okay, if they say, if Ronda Rousey is Sonya Blade, all that's already been done. Okay, so if they haven't already, it's not going to happen. But, safer bet, for upcoming games, like say maybe DLC or whatever, and they put in some new characters or whatever, we could see Xavier Woods, we could see Zelina Vega in there, or the next game in the series. Whatever's happened, I think the most you're gonna get for this game in particular is Ronda Rousey, if that's even true to begin with.
Well, as of tomorrow, we'll find out. This is probably going to go up Thursday or Friday. So by the time this episode goes out, you're going to know the answer already.
Yeah, this is being taped on Wednesday night. So by the time this goes up, you'll already know.
All I care about is having Reptile and Kotal Khan confirmed. Just do it, please. If that's what we get, then this is my reaction. If I don't get that, then this is my reaction. Okay, reactions are canned. Let's do it. Let's move on to this week in wrestling already. Starting things off with Monday Night Raw. And I don't know about you, but I didn't see this coming. Braun Strowman getting removed from his match at the Royal Rumble with Brock Lesnar.
I did see this coming because, first of all, I don't think he's actually been cleared to return to the ring.
Yes, it came out that that he hasn't been cleared yet for his injuries and all that, which makes sense, but even so, not a good look for the Beast.
But, okay, it's not a good look, but it's also a blessing in disguise. Okay,
that I will agree.
Because this just showed exactly what was going to happen at the Royal Rumble if he had been cleared. Okay, if he was going to become the champion, okay, they wouldn't have removed him from the match. They would have found a way to get him in. Okay, this just confirmed that Strowman was going to get beat by Brock Lesnar clean for the third time.
And you know what? Okay. I didn't really want to see that, so
and at that point,
blessing in disguise.
And at that point, okay, his big man cred, his legacy has been tarnished in the last few months. It really has.
I wish you weren't right.
So I don't think anybody else wanted to see the match to begin with, because it's happened so often in the last little bit.
Yeah,
so we're gonna do Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar again. Ugh. That's how that went. So
give us something better.
It's actually
something better we got.
It's a blessing in disguise, and I love the way that they actually did it. Okay, put Baron Corbin on our screen again, but whatever. That's it. Yes. It also gave us that song from Elias, which is great. Vince McMahon doing what Vince McMahon does with his face. That's great. Okay, and I like the fact that I just like how they actually pulled it off. It wasn't one of those like, oh, Braun Strowman hasn't been cleared, so he's not going to be able to compete. We need to choose a new guy. They actually did it storyline wise, so.
And we got a damn entertaining match out of it too.
Yeah,
for the number one contender.
They did it storyline wise, and it's a story that makes sense because Baron Corbin has been. Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin have just been fucking with each other for the last month and a half, 2 months. Okay, Baron Corbin sees a limo. He knows it's Vince McMahon's limo. Who shows up in a limo anymore? If it's not...
No chance.
Exactly. So he gets in the limo. Braun's gonna Braun. That's it.
Braun's gonna Braun.
Baron Corbin knows that Braun's gonna Braun. So you know he tipped off Vince McMahon at the same time. So it's just and it was the beginning 15 minutes of Raw that is so completely different from the beginning 15 minutes of Raw that we've had for the last 6 months now, that automatically you're like, huh, that was actually fun. Okay, even though you might not have liked that it caused the removal of Braun Strowman, because we all love Braun Strowman here. Mm-hmm. He's tarnished in the last few months, but we still have love for the big man. Mm-hmm. We don't like when he gets taken away from title opportunities. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to do it, okay, at least make it entertaining, and this was actually entertaining.
Yes, absolutely. And especially when the match had the outcome when it did, we're getting, finally, Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at the Royal Rumble.
And I love how
much better, much hyped match. I love it.
I love how they actually did it. Okay, Vince McMahon comes out to the ring. John Cena comes out to the ring, as we all knew he would. That's it. Gives a speech. Pretty damn good speech. Okay.
Fine speech.
Fine speech. Out comes Drew McIntyre. I would love if they did that match for WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre versus John Cena. Drew McIntyre going over. That
is one idea I've got for the man later on.
That's
huge. For another time.
That is huge, and that's honestly what I want. I want McIntyre versus Cena. McIntyre versus Cena or bust for WrestleMania.
Okay.
Baron Corbin, little bit of a letdown, but based on story, sure, makes sense. I could sue you. Put me in here. Okay, fine, makes sense. Okay, and out comes Finn Balor, and here they do the IWC bait. Okay. Finn and Vince are going back and forth. Okay, and because they both know what the IWC says about Finn and Vince. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you knew this was coming when they went face to face, because Vince likes to play up what the people think about him. There's a lot of meat in this ring.
I
was like, that's weird. That's weird, but based on what the internet wrestling community thinks of you, that was probably the best line you could have come up with for that.
I mean, technically, you're not wrong.
Yeah, and you.
But why?
And then he turns to Finn Balor, and you are you? And I'm like, IWC bait. I see what you're going for here, and that was the moment I knew that Finn Balor was going to win the Fatal 4-Way match. As soon as Vince McMahon said that, because I'm like, they're playing up everything that the internet wrestling community says about Finn Balor and Vince McMahon. This is the same thing they pulled with Daniel Bryan and Triple H back during the Yes Movement. They did the same thing. Triple H played up what the IWC thought of Triple H, Okay, and Daniel Bryan played up to what the IWC thought about Daniel Bryan. Okay, and this is the same thing. The only difference is we know the outcome. Finn Balor isn't walking into WrestleMania as the Universal Champion. It's not happening. Okay, he could show up as a demon, and the match is gonna go for 12 minutes instead of 8. That's what that's going to be. This is the same. This is going to be the star-making performance for Finn Balor, but he's not going to. In Vince McMahon's mind, this is a star-making performance for Finn Balor. He's gonna go out, put on a show like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan did at both the last Survivor Series, and he's gonna have Brock Lesnar on the ropes, but Brock Lesnar's gonna beat him. Okay, I just don't think the title's changing at the Royal Rumble, and I feel like they're really going a certain way for WrestleMania, and Finn Balor as Universal Champion isn't in those plans. But, okay, just being in the match itself, let's face it, he was going to be doing nothing going into the Royal Rumble. And if he was in the Royal Rumble, he was just going to be another guy in the Royal Rumble doing probably making it to the Final Four and losing again. Okay, but now he's in a high-profile title match that people are going to be talking about because it's Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar gets talked about outside of wrestling fan bases. So now, whether Finn Balor wins or loses, his name is shot into the stratosphere just by facing Brock Lesnar. So, do I expect him to win? No. Okay, but, he beat Jinder Mahal to actually get into the Fatal 4-Way match. As soon as Jinder Mahal picked Finn Balor, first of all, the talking, when Vince McMahon started going in on Finn Balor, I was like, okay, he's going to the Royal Rumble. They wouldn't even do. Vince would have said what he said while he was standing in the apron, when he was in the middle of the ring, if Finn Balor wasn't going to be going to the Royal Rumble to face Brock Lesnar. Okay, but instead, he actually went up to him and started talking shit to his face. Okay, so I'm like, okay, that is 100% confirmed that Finn Balor is going to the Royal Rumble. Then, just to add on top of that, Jinder Mahal comes out in the back, and Vince McMahon says, you can pick anybody to face. And if you win that match, you go to the Fatal 4-Way. And he picks Finn Balor because, of course. That's it. So
that one was plainly obvious.
So now it's completely obvious. And here's where I switch tactics and say thank you to John Cena.
Put him over big. Real big.
Real big. Like, biggest he's put someone over in a long time. Since AJ, really.
Pretty much.
Okay, and talk about Cena, the mid-2000s and early 2010s all you want, but all I've been seeing from this guy for the past 2 years is if you're good enough, I'll put you over. That's it.
To his credit, he is good at that. So
it's one of those, you still got Drew McIntyre looking like a beast. You got Baron Corbin doing Baron Corbin things. He can go away now. And you've got the setup for John Cena versus Drew McIntyre Mania. That's still going. Okay, they're going to get together in the Royal Rumble. Okay, McIntyre's probably going to eliminate Cena. Okay, so that can continue that. And you got Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar, a match that I'm vastly more interested in this point than Strowman versus Lesnar. And even though I don't think Finn Balor is going to win, this is an opportunity to put him in the likes of names like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, who got popular outside of the wrestling business because they faced Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got Finn Balor doing the same thing, and that automatically ups his stock anywhere.
Absolutely.
And considering he wasn't doing shit going into this Royal Rumble, it's a very big leap to take, and you know where this came from. You know exactly where this came from. They wouldn't have done this if AEW hadn't shown up, because you know that Finn Balor was one of those ones who was,
yummy. But yeah, this is absolutely the beginning of Finn Balor's latest skyrocket push. Whether or not that translates to a win at Royal Rumble, I am going to reserve my predictions for next week. But in the meantime, elsewhere on Raw, we also had a surprisingly decent Intercontinental Championship match and a new champion in Bobby Lashley.
I'm not going to say it was surprisingly decent because of the two...
It was just surprising then.
Because of the two people that were in the ring with Lashley. Okay, and for me, this isn't validation of Bobby Lashley as a wrestler.
Mm-mm.
This is validation of Leo Rush as a manager. Because before this, before Leo Rush became Bobby Lashley's manager,
he was lost.
Dude was lost. Dude was nothing. He was doing jumping jacks against Sami Zayn and just...
I love you.
And just hanging out. Okay, but Leo Rush gave him a purpose. Okay, do I agree with making Bobby Lashley the Intercontinental Champion right now? No, I do not. Okay, I still think there were places to go with Dean Ambrose. But, okay, the match was great. Of course, it was a Leo Rush distraction that caused Bobby Lashley to get the pin. Okay, so it checked everything. It checked every box that needed to happen in that match to get to where it ended. Okay, if Bobby Lashley won clean, I would have said bullshit. That's it. But he didn't.
And there we are.
Seth Rollins took out Dean Ambrose. Leo Rush took out Seth Rollins. Bobby Lashley spears the fuck out of Dean Ambrose. Tell you what, Dean Ambrose knows how to fold himself up like an accordion. That's it. He took that spear and kept going. That's what. Like he was
like a champ.
He didn't even have to. Bobby Lashley didn't even have to pin him. All he had to do was keep his arm where it ended up at the end after the motion, because Dean Ambrose was clearly in folded up accordion pinfall mode. That's it.
That's the thing now, folded up accordion pinfall mode. But in all seriousness,
if you saw it, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was just sort of came out of nowhere. It's like as soon as I saw that, I was like, wait, is he actually going to? Holy crap, they did it!
Now the question is, they say that they have big plans for Bobby Lashley in the Intercontinental Championship. I don't understand at this point, because after the Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins isn't going to be going for it. Because I have a feeling I know what he's going to be going after the Royal Rumble, and it's a little bit bigger than the Intercontinental title.
Again,
so
saving my judgment for later.
So it's one of those things. Like, I'm reserving judgment. The match itself was great. I'm reserving judgment on the championship, on the champion, until I figure out where this thing's going, because this changing the championship actually puts the champion and the ex-champion back in limbo, because it's like Bobby Lashley had something going with Seth Rollins. Okay, I thought that he was going to be in my thought process for what's going to be happening in between WrestleMania. I thought Bobby Lashley was going to be the garbage feud for the person who I believe is going to win the Royal Rumble going into their match at the Royal Rumble at WrestleMania. Now, who the hell knows? That's it.
It makes it hard to predict, but as far as we're concerned, or as far as I'm concerned, that just makes things a hell of a lot more interesting now, don't it? But anyway, on the Blue brand, we also had, not to be outdone, they also gave us another match between Rey Mysterio and Andrade. And oh man, did this kick ass.
First of all, okay, people freaking out about the name change, you need to calm the hell down. It's not a big deal. Okay, does he still wrestle? It's still... So they got rid of his last name and he's now Andrade. Okay, does that really change anything? Seriously? It's not like a guy coming in with a completely different name from what he had in a different promotion. Okay? It's not that big a deal. Calm down. You're still getting the same work. But SmackDown match, I can already say this is a match of the year candidate. Because holy shit balls. This was fucking...
It was like,
that
whoa.
That power bomb on the outside by Andrade.
Oh, that looked like it killed.
First of all, I thought he blew out his knee when he first went down. I was like, oh shit, they went a little too far on the Lucha Libre thing, and here we are. Andrade's gonna have a blown out knee, but then he fucking powered up, and that was a real power bomb. That wasn't one of those like, oh, I'm just gonna throw you on the ground like Kevin Nash used to do. That was a full sit out, just like bam, boom. And I think what's happening here is this is a passing of the torch thing going on right here. Okay, Rey Mysterio is on his way out. He wants to pass the torch to Andrade to be the new kind of, to be that new kind of the face the version of Rey Mysterio who can actually show his face. That's what this feels like. Because I think with the crowd reactions and the way everything's going, I think they're going to have to turn Andrade's face soon. The way everything's going. But, okay, just these two in the ring together, this is the second week in a row. It's magic. It's magic every time.
Yes. And there's absolutely got to be a third match coming. There absolutely is. When we're going to get it, maybe it'll be a WrestleMania for all we know.
I think that's a little far. They're obviously going to have interactions in the Rumble. To be said. That's actually tough. They're not going to drag it out that far. This isn't a thing that they're going to drag out that far.
Royal Rumble, maybe?
I don't think they'll have a match. They'll have probably Elimination Chamber. Or maybe they'll be in the they'll be in a chamber of some sort. But definitely, this is the best, the most enjoyable segment. The most enjoyable match, the most enjoyable segment. This was the best thing that happened this week. This match. This was just fun. Fun and entertaining. And that's all I really want out of my wrestling shows. You can go into the high depth analysis when we do the pay-per-view reviews. What we want in our weekly shows is just to have fun and be entertained.
That's it.
And this match did that in spades.
Yes. But on the less technical, I guess you could say, aspects of professional wrestling, one of my boys beat down another one of my boys. Samoa Joe beat down Mustafa Ali. This one, I just like seeing it just because they're setting Samoa Joe up for something. And they're showing, he's still in this. He's still in the eye. He's still in the public eye, and he can come out of nowhere, do anything, hit you with anything, and he can take on anybody.
And that's all well and good, but what I take away from this segment is this isn't like the rise of Mustafa Ali that they did real quick. It's not going away. That's what this shows me. It's like Mustafa. They could have ended his shit after that number one contenders match and just be like what they normally do. What they normally do, they'll drop him into go back to the cruiserweight, deal with them. Okay, but they're not. I don't know if this is the start of a program. I hope not, because Mustafa Ali's got to be killed by Samoa Joe. We know what that's gonna be. But okay. This just shows that he's still there. Mm-hmm. He's still like a big part of things. And that's what I take away from this. I already know that Samoa Joe can come out of nowhere and fuck your day up.
I know, but
everybody knows
that there's a future for Samoa Joe.
Yeah, everybody knows that. Okay, this was just to show it once again. And that's all well and good and fine. Okay, but what this shows to me is that they still have faith in Mustafa Ali. And that's big. Because if they have faith in Mustafa Ali, that means potentially that more cruiserweight people can come up to the main roster and do some good. Like Mustafa Ali did the last month while he was in the feud with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan.
Absolutely. And now, before we close out the SmackDown Live portion of life, I've been for some weird reason I've been hearing some back and forth about the Mandy Rose, Naomi, Jimmy Uso thing that's been going on
this whole week. Okay, you had something on Raw.
I kind of dug
it. You have something on Raw that's controversial for the women. You have something on SmackDown that's controversial for the women. Okay, on Raw you have the whole Alexa Bliss scene that you think is superfluous. Okay, it's just random intern walks in and she's getting changed. It's like, okay, that was weird.
I honestly didn't think that much of it.
I was like, it's a return to the days of old, where you saw that shit on every show. It was just random.
Attitude Era's coming back. Woo!
I'm not gonna go that far, but it's
neither
one
am I.
of those.
I'm joking.
But going back to Raw for a second, that moment of bliss when Otis came out. That was the debut of the week for me.
That was fantastic. I love that dude.
Pretty lady. That was fantastic. And then what they did at the beginning of SmackDown.
It's kind of weak.
With no, not even. What they did at the beginning is, you know that Otis is going to be like that Festus guy. He's going to do weird shit and people are going to play along. But I
see a bright future for that team.
Making a tuna smoothie or whatever, and then just like Becky Lynch comes in and he's like, and she takes it and she drinks it and it's like, that was weak, man.
It's kind of weak.
I'm like, that's great. So if that's all, and if he's just there to be comic relief, okay, he's doing his job and he's
already
a
draw.
He's already awesome. But as it
what's
pertains,
his name? Otis Dozovic?
Yeah. But as it goes with the Mandy, going back to the controversial women bit that I started with, okay, Mandy Rose, hotel room, nice little robe going on. Okay, that went viral too. Okay, so now people are saying online that they're bringing that back. I'm like, no, not really. It's just part of the storyline. Mm-hmm. The seduction of the Jimmy, as you got it. That's good.
That's how I put it on the run sheet here.
Yes, but this is one of those fun little side feuds that, in the end, really means nothing. Mm-hmm. But does it offend me like it does other people? No. Do I hate it? No. It's something that's going on. It's something that's going on my screen. I watch it. It doesn't offend me. I sit there and go, huh, and then move on. That's it.
And now we're just building towards that match probably at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Mandy Rose versus Naomi. It'll be a pre-show match, and hey, it'll happen. Naomi will win.
It'll be wrestling. It'll be good.
It'll be wrestling. I don't know if it'll be good, but Naomi will win. We'll move on.
Yes.
That's all this is.
Yeah.
It's
wrestling. Wrestling is good. But anyway, let's get to it. We've been talking about this a little bit before we went on and started recording. Raw versus SmackDown Live. Which one was the better show this week? And you think I'm going to be surprised by this?
I'll say this. Okay, SmackDown Live did have the best match of the week. Hands down. Easily. Nothing really compared to it. Okay? I'll give it that. But what else did it really have? When you think about it.
Samoa Joe and Mandy Rose.
That's pretty much it. Everything else was
count for something.
Everything else was kind of a letdown compared to what normally happens. SmackDown is normally must-see TV. Like, you're on your edges of your seat the entire show. You're having fun. You're having a good time. This week, I had about a half hour to 45 minutes of on the edge of my seat. That's it.
On the edge of my sheet.
On the edge of my seat, and the rest was like, this is a show. Nothing's really bad, but nothing's really nothing's really jumping out at me other than Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. Monday Night Raw, I was on the edge of my seat for most of it.
That was must-see.
I liked almost everything that came out of that show. In fact, just thinking off the top of my head right now, I don't remember anything that I hated. Absolutely
I'll tell you what, neither can I.
And Monday Night Raw, normally I could come up with about 3 to 5 things that I hate on a weekly basis. But you could tell that what happened last week lit a fire under the WWE's ass. Because that show on Monday was breakneck pace. Okay, there was no filler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everything had its spot. Even the Revival versus the Lucha House Party, because it was continuing a story from last week that you're invested in because you want the Revival to do well. Mm-hmm. Okay, knowing what we know, it's really not going to matter. But on TV...
Hopefully.
On TV, I want the Revival to do well, so I'm invested in their storyline, and really, what Raw did was everything had a purpose. Okay, and this week in particular, all purposes were met.
Yes.
Okay, Ronda Rousey, Sasha Banks. Okay, we actually got some heat on that feud.
I dig it.
Okay, Sasha Banks took over the segment because I still have a problem with Ronda Rousey interacting. But we all know when she gets in the ring, she turns it on and goes to 100 and everything's great. So I can take a step back on that. But what's happening here is that everything on the Raw side for the Royal Rumble was built well. Mm-hmm. On Monday Night Raw, and all the side stories that aren't going to have anything to do with the Rumble were also built well. Okay, and most of the time the filler stuff is annoying. Okay, this week not so much. Okay, I enjoyed every second of Raw. I enjoyed SmackDown, but not as much as I enjoyed Raw. I'm giving it to Raw this week.
I'm right there with you. I always try to come up with a good, solid, legitimate reason to give it to Raw after week of just giving it to SmackDown whenever this question comes up. This absolutely was Raw's week. SmackDown certainly wasn't weak in manner of speaking, but Monday Night Raw, because it was so jam-packed, just had hit after hit after hit. I cannot say no to it. You know what? I think we're all in agreement. Raw won this week.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's what we think about this week in wrestling and all of its assorted accoutrements. So now we're turning it over to you, our listening and viewing audience. What did you think? Which show was stronger, Raw or SmackDown? What do you think of the Revival possibly leaving? What do you think about what's going on with Mortal Kombat 11 and Ronda Rousey or whoever else? We want to know it all. So, of course, you can join us and our conversations wherever you can find them. If you're joining us on YouTube, leave us a comment, likes. You know how it goes. If you're on Facebook, just look us up on at the Scholars of Wrestling Show. Like our page, leave us a comment. We always love the love. But if you want to get a little bit more up close and personal with us, you can always check us out on Twitter, starting with @ScholarsOW, our main page for all the latest wrestling and episode uploads. And you can also check us out on our personal Twitter accounts. Brian, where can they reach you?
You can find me at Atomic Beanpole.
You can find our current reigning and defending Scholars of Wrestling champion, Scholar Tarek, at The Avataric. And you can find me at I'm Robbie Rage. Join the conversation. It's not too far from the Royal Rumble. Now is the time to get in on the ground floor of this. And of course, if you want to put in some real legitimate predictions, while you're on Facebook, check out the 2019 Royal Rumble prediction game. It's a game we run every year. Pick 3 numbers. The winner of each match. Most points wins. Check us out. Do it. But in the meantime, we got some business to attend to. Because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling. And you have just been schooled. You're welcome. See you next week for the big prediction show.